Okay, so here is a really short presentation. It'll take about 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to cover some of the big questions that folks ask in our mindful marketplace community about creating tiny products, as well as those of you who are interested in joining our Trippy Therapy community, which is launching in September, about a week from now. Today's the 27th of August. And essentially, we're going to go through some of the challenges for creating tiny products, tiny courses, writing tiny books, and even building tiny communities that make a big difference in your life as an artist, author, or entrepreneur. All right, so number one, size, right? So, does size matter, right? I guess is the question. How big is the problem? How large is the universe of folks who struggle with this particular pain, challenge, obstacle, or issue, right? So, I mean, you can filter whatever it is that you're selling in the world, offering to your audience through this general heuristic. How big is the problem? And actually, how large is the universe of folks who, are really right now in this very moment struggling with this particular challenge? Now, ask your audience. I mean, a lot of people struggle with the notion of, how to actually find out how much of a struggle, how much of a challenge, how big of an issue this thing, this problem that you're solving is. And you can simply ask your readers, ask your audience, go on social media, if you have a newsletter, anything that you can muster to kind of get some market intelligence here is smart, even if you're just doing, just general outreach. If you're like reaching out to people in your immediate orbit and asking them, how big of a challenge really is this for you? All right, so this is where we start to get very granular with respect to like really figuring out a problem that you can solve for your audience that actually is going to make you money. And essentially, it's the difficulty sort of mad lib. How hard has it been to get help, right? How much time, effort, energy, or income have you spent trying to pop this particular pain, overcome this specific obstacle, heal this specific hurt, or get past this particular problem writ large or overall, right? So, I mean, again, if you run this thought experiment through something like weight loss or getting in shape or any kind of personal development lens or perspective, it can be really interesting to see how much, energy and effort your current audience is really expending on trying to solve this particular problem that your tiny product, your tiny course, your coaching, your consulting, etc., will offer, right? So asking people, this is like you get into sort of marketing speak here, but how long have you searched for a solution to this problem? Again, ostensibly, you're asking this to your ideal audience or your quintessential client or community. Has it been a year, a day, a decade, a lifetime, right? Like, how urgent is the issue or the challenge, and how much time have you actually spent seeking out a solution, right? This is where, when I mentioned marketing speak, you can simply frame this in a different kind of container. Like, how much longer are you willing to wait to get help? So, if there's a solution right now that's available that will solve this particular problem, how much longer are you willing to wait? Are you willing to wait another year, another decade, another lifetime, another day, or you're really kind of not necessarily in a hurry to get this particular pain point popped or fixed? All right, and again, you can ask some variation of this as well. How motivated are you to actually get help? How would your life be different if you could overcome this obstacle, put this problem in the rearview mirror, or have a new experience that you've long been craving? I know a lot of folks in our Trippy Therapy community are interested in psychedelics and sort of these, kind of big experiences that motivate and inspire people to see the world through new eyes, right? So this is also something that can be really useful, again, when you're approaching your audience, to determine which particular problem or pain point you're going to pop or help or heal, and really make sure you don't waste a lot of time selling something, selling a service, creating a product, writing a course, etc., that really ultimately doesn't build your brand, your business, and your bank account. All right. So, for those of you writing books, because this is also part of our target market for our Tiny Book About platform, if you're solving a problem that people actually are not desperate to fix, you really don't have a book that's going to, turn into a business. And I'm going to give you a really quick example in our own community, our own product community. I'll show you the product as well. We have a lot of interest from folks in our immediate orbit around, empathy or being a spiritually sensitive person, folks who identify as empaths or, as these really kind of like gifted healer helper types. So we created this entire suite of tiny products that were, again, at various price points. $4.99, $4.99. This is not $499. These little checklists, guides, workbooks, etc. And the conversion just sucks. So we would drive, or I would drive, hundreds of visitors a day to this very low price product. And I'm going to show it to you here, hopefully without screwing up this entire presentation. It's right here. And you can see 244 downloads. It's now $0. Actually, made it free because it just wasn't worth actually trying to sell it for various price points. And the ratings have been good. This person I don't know, but she wrote, "This is the most generous, humane, and precious thing I have found so far. Simply admirable. Thank you." Again, there's a lot of stuff in this product, and even with like good reviews, 11 5-star reviews, and of 244 purchases, it still doesn't really sell much, even giving it away. Something that's interesting to note, by the way, using the free feature on Gumroad and actually letting people decide their own price, that actually makes more money, like giving it away for free and letting people, guilt themselves into giving you a few dollars is surprisingly more profitable than actually just charging $5 or $10 and making people pay to access the product. I found people will donate $20 or they can set their own price, and I find that's actually really useful. All right, so even in the same niche where we can get hundreds of people a day via driving traffic from other sites, an affiliate product with a really well-known author also stinks, right? So we were using the Sounds True product, which is if you're familiar with Sounds True, they're a spiritual sort of library of like, Eckhart Tolle and John Kabat-Zinn and Oprah-esque sorts of people and products. And even when we used a really well-known product from a well-known like TV celebrity sort of empath, and I put that in quotes, right? The conversion was still terrible, at least for us, right? So it wasn't even worth working on, even with free traffic of 200 to 500 people a day, because I have a high traffic website that a big banner at the top of that website was sending all of those empathic sort of spiritual interested people to different products, our own product, an affiliate product, and it still wouldn't convert. All right, so the key thing here is ask your audience what they pay for. Right, it's really easy to do this skillfully, ethically, without being pushy or salesy. Just ask people, what are you willing to buy to improve your life, to get over this challenge, to solve an urgent issue, or overcome some sort of lifelong pain point, like diet, fitness, kind of mental health stuff tends to work really well here. But things like improving my empathic skills, and again, I'm putting this in quotes, I know you can't see me, but that's not necessarily an urgent thing we discovered in this particular niche. All right, if folks don't engage or show a willingness to interact with your content, it's also a good sign that they probably won't spend money either. All right, so in other words, if you have content that has like a comment section and people aren't like leaving comments, asking questions, etc., it's a relatively good sign that folks really aren't that interested in, kind of building out their skills in that vicinity. All right, build your tiny empire in 2025, not 2024, when I originally created this slide deck. If you're interested in creating tiny products that make a big impact, I'd recommend following the heuristics that I described earlier on in the first chapter of this little mini course. Finding out what people will pay for, how big the problem is, how long they've had it, and how long they're willing to wait to solve it. That's a really, really great little tricky, sort of twist in the, kind of like, surveying your audience kind of landscape that people don't generally take advantage of. Just saying to somebody, how long are you willing, how much longer are you willing to wait to lose weight, to get in shape, to learn to meditate, to overcome your anxiety, to, find a life partner, get married, etc. All those things, regardless of what it is that you're selling in the world, finding out how much people are willing, or the time course by which people are willing to wait to solve the problem, tells you, or to take action in any meaningful way, tells you a lot more about the strength of your product, your idea, than just about any other sort of guru gimmick, specious silliness that you're going to find folks trying to tell you works online. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. As always, I appreciate you watching. If you have questions, feel free to ask. If you're in our community, you can feel free to send me an email or leave a comment on this particular tutorial, or if you're watching this on YouTube, where I'm also going to post this either today, which again is the 27th of August, or later this month. You can leave me a comment in the description or the comment box on YouTube, and I'm happy to help. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate you, and thanks again.